I want to turn to the other big story in America this afternoon, developing really here in New York, but also across the country. Occupy Wall Street supporters vowing to retake Zuccotti Park after the NYPD ousted them in a surprise overnight raid. Even members of the media could not get answers from the cops.
Please step back.
It looks like the press line's right here.
It's here because you're standing here in violation of what I'm telling you. Step back. Step back.
Into the street?
Step back. Step back.
The NYPD reports some 200 arrests so far, including reporters from the New York Times and NPR. Right now, the occupiers remain in a standoff with the mayor's office. Of course, New York is just the latest city in what, for all intents and purposes, appears to be a coordinated attempt to halt this movement. If you look at Portland, Denver, Oakland, across the board, I sort of watched all this and thought to myself that it struck me, honestly, as foolish. And the reason it struck me as foolish is that it's so clear, whether going back to the Tea Party or the Obama wave or now with the occupation movement, the American people know that their government is corrupt. They know that 94% of the time the person who gets the most money wins. They know that you can't rely on any of these people because they've tried it for decades. And it struck me that it was sort of silly to think that, oh, well, if you can just get the protesters out of Zuccotti Park, or if you can just get the protesters out of wherever it is, that this will go away.
But I can flip it. What makes them, if they stay in the park, what makes that continue? I mean, we talked about this. It's going to probably be social media.
Very possible, exactly.
But staying in the park does not necessarily mean things are going to change.
But I think to Dylan's point, the park is a part of it. This movement is not just about the park. I wrote about this a few weeks ago in The Hill. Look at what happened in Israel. For the first time in their history, they had these domestic protests. Just because they did away with the tent camps, the legislation had already...
But you're making Susan's point, which is that the voice that will be heard, whether there's people in Zuccotti Park or not.
And the fact is that the mayor was responsible for keeping a certain amount of order, just like it has been in other cities.
Well, that's for debate. I mean, we can debate what the mayor's actions in terms of arresting reporters. I mean, the actual I don't want to debate.
Intended to. I mean, I don't think that the orders were arrest some reporters if you can.
But here's what I don't want to do. Here's what I don't want to do. Here's what the thing is. If we're going to devolve this into an argument about the cops in Zuccotti Park, let's talk about something else, honestly, because it's a short show. I'm more interested in the broader thing because I wasn't there. I can't.
Most importantly, and I think they know this nationally, what the Occupy movement, and it is a movement that will exist whether or not they tear this Zuccotti Park down, and the 99% movement, they need to realize they've already had an impact.
Of course.
So keep going.
Of course.
Keep going, because you know what? They have to do
that's it. I want to read a quick statement from Buddy Roemer, and then I'll get out of here. Buddy Roemer, who you know is running for president on the actions today, says, the actions of the city, being New York today, have confirmed the young people's worst fears about the establishment. They will not listen. After all, the establishment is safely protected in the tower of the top 1%. Some of us may disagree on the solutions proposed by these young people, but I totally support their right to assemble and to speak freely about their concerns. I do not believe we need bigger government. This is Governor Roemer. We need better government, fairer government, honest government, and non-corrupt government. And I do think that really Governor Roemer captured the essence of this. And so I guess to you, Governor Roemer, I'll say amen, even though I'm not really a practicing Christian, but I'm just, confirming.